Just going to do a quick little video on this particular backtesting session. Here, mostly down on the SysD multi-time frame trend, so get rid of that. And then we begin with a 2-hour point of interest, which is this 2-hour candle, Chad candle, 2 hours. It's at the 2 a.m. So it goes from 2 a.m. to 3:59 and 59 seconds. So right before 4 o'clock. So this Chad candle with this point of interest, this gray line, coincides with, here's where the gray line is, and that's the 2-hour point of interest. So there's that. So now we have the trend down, we have the Chad candle, we have engaged the point of interest. We also are taking a 50% fib from this movement. So from here to here, 50% is there, so we could take that off. We know that we have engaged the POI and we're in premium in terms of the 50% fib. So now everything is A+, so we just need something else to be also A+. If that last thing is not A+, we're not going to take the trade. And that is the entry model. We need either a SysD or IFEG to be A+. And the way this is A+, is that we have this swing, and that little line that says X on it, that's the liquidity sweep. We denote it by a little X. We sweep up. So these upgoing candles, these up closing candles have the start here and the opening here. So if we get a resounding close below this line, that's a proper A+ SysD. And this drawing indicates that the slow drift up and then the strong down. See the slow drift up here and then the resounding down is what makes this a A+ SysD. The slope of this is more drifting, drift slowly up, and then bam, slam down. These candles on the 1 minute look like this on the 15 second. Here's that line of the SysD. This line is this line here. And this candle and this candle, or these series of red candle, followed by a little bit of up and then back down with volume. On the 15 second, you can see the volume. These candles right there. And we close resoundingly, or we have a good looking close right at the SysD line of the 1 minute, even though this is the 15 second. It's just zooming in. And also, before we get there, before we got to the SysD line, we actually had an inversion of a fair value gap on the 15 second. We had this sweep denoted by the X. We also had yet another inversion of a fair value gap on the 15 second with closing. So this is this is this, and this. And this. We'll have a drift up and then a straight down. See, a drifting up and a straight down in 2 strong candles to turn this SysD around. And this one corresponds to the 15-second chart where it inverted a couple of 15-second fair value gaps That's 1, 1, 2, 2, and 2 had volume. And so upon closing of this 1 minute candle, you could have placed a trade and it would have been a 1-to-1 target. So we said earlier that everything else was A+. So something else must also be A+. Well, so you are going to find the chat candle, A+, find the point of interest and the 50% fib premium discount and the pullback to the point of interest, that's A+. And if all those things are A+, something else must also be A+. And that's the entry model. And here, because of this drift up and the straight down, that's a strong SysD in my book. And the inversion of the 15-second fair value gaps, this candle looks pretty good. This candle also looks pretty good. Closing and inversing the fair value gap after a sweep denoted by this X, denoted by this X on the 1 minute chart. So this is a A+ entry model, A+ SysD. So everything all around, this is a A+ setup, and it this is not the most important part that it worked out. The most important part is that everything else was A+, and the thing that trips me up the most, which is the entry model, we held out for A+. Had this looked differently, like if it went straight up and then drifted down and you don't really know exactly where the SysD closed, like here we know it was a clear close. But let's say it wasn't like this. It was more like drifty, small candles, gets over here, did it close below, did it not close below? That by comparison to this, would not have been a SysD, good A+ SysD. This is A+ SysD. So the question that naturally begs to be asked is, what happens in a case where everything else is A+, but the entry model is not A+? The simple answer is we skip those, and it's okay if that eventually, that particular one that in theory eventually goes straight to target. That doesn't matter to us. We're not here for outcome, individual outcomes. We're here for the process. Our process says that we want to hold out for SysDs that have a clear close and IFVGs that have a clear close. Not this drifty little candle up and down. Did we close? Did we not close? That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for this. So if everything else is A+, then something else must also be A+. And this must also be A+.